Welcome back to the GSMC Dead Ball Sports Podcast, hosted by GSMC Sports Network. I'm your host, Nolan Jambert. Today, we got a wide variety of stuff to talk about. To be honest, we're talking NBA play-in. We're staying with basketball, but we're going to the WNBA. They just had their draft. Let's talk about their draft. We have, some individual players. Talk about Nick Chubb, MLB, and then we're talking about some more basketball. Before we get into all that, though, tips and donations. Tips and donations are always greatly appreciated. It really means you guys care about the content that we are putting out, and by donating and tipping, it really means you guys care, and that we're going to keep putting out the best content that we possibly can. So if you want to tip or donate and you're not in the live stream, feel free to do so with the links in the bio and description. And if you are in the live stream, super chat and stickers are the best way to do so. Even if you don't want to tip or donate, you got comment in the live stream, in the chat, or in the comment section on YouTube. I'll get to those as soon as I see them. I love talking to you fans, talking to people who are listening. It's what I do. It's what my job is, talking sports. And I love being able to hear other people's opinions. So like I said, if you want to tip or donate, you can do so if you're in the live stream via super chat or stickers. Not in the live stream, links in the bio description. But if you just want to leave a comment, do it in the comment section in the comment of the video or live stream chat so I can get to that as soon as possible and talk to you guys. With that being said, let's get into the content for today. First segment, we're talking NBA play-in. The NBA postseason has finally arrived. It's been a long time coming. It always feels, like it's forever. But the NBA play-in started a few years ago, and it's possibly the best thing the NBA has added in a while. Maybe the NBA play-in, like the Cup, but NBA play-in is just so fun to watch. You got 10 teams now competing instead of the 6, for a play-in spot, just playing in the playoffs. And I love it. And it finally starts tonight. Even if, the play-ins aren't the best overall teams, the games themselves are just so amazing and fun to watch. And I want to talk about, who I think is going to win, all that. We'll talk about the Eastern Conference first because, the East I feel like it's a lot easier to predict the East compared to the West because, East is not as much of a war zone as the West is/was. The West is still an absolute just mess, even in the play-in playoffs. It's going to be amazing. But like I said, talk about the Eastern Conference first, then go to the West. First game, you got the Orlando Magic versus the Atlanta Hawks. This game is going to be very interesting and will be heavily reliant. The Magic will be relying on their defense as always. After all, they are one of the best defensive teams in the NBA. Their rating says so. Offense, isn't as good as their defense. Let's say that. Their defense is just so dominant, though. They've been winning games all season. Even though if they're not putting out the most points, their defense is just so dominant. All five, no matter who's on the court at the time. Paolo, Jalen Suggs, the Wagner twins. It doesn't matter. They're just playing good, hard defense, and it works for them. And their offense, like I said earlier, could use some work. It's definitely not horrible. They're in the play-in, but, could do some work. And going against the Atlanta Hawks, who are known for their offense, you got guys like Trae Young, one of the best three-point shooters in the game right now, hucking up shots, playing decent defense. Not really the best defense, but, he's playing okay defense. But, overall, it's going to be a really good 7-8 game. And I do think the Magic will win just based off, their defensive play. So they'll be in the playoffs. And then you got the other Eastern game, 9 versus 10. 9 Chicago Bulls versus 10 the Miami Heat. If Jimmy Butler was still on the Heat, if he was still there, they definitely wouldn't be that 10 seed, maybe already a playoff lock. But he left. He left to go to Golden State. But, the Heat are just better with Jimmy Butler. But even with him gone, playoff Jimmy's gone, the Heat are still a good basketball team. They went on a 10-game losing streak a few weeks ago. So, that's never good for your reputation. Oh, these guys, you want to make a run, but going on a 10-game losing streak is not going to help your case. But they are a good team. Bam Adebayo, Jamie Vasquez, Tyler Hero, Duncan, Robinson. These guys, it's a good load. They have a lot of talent on that team. So, but they are playing Chicago. Josh Giddey, post All-Star break, is one of the best players in the NBA right now. Just him and the Bulls post All-Star break. He's just he was dropping. There was a 4 or 5 day span where he was dropping triple doubles back to back to back to back. I mean, he's playing great basketball. No one can deny that. But I just don't feel like there's enough talent on the Bulls team besides maybe like Kobe White, to like, match up against the Heat. And that's why I think the Heat will end up beating them in the 9-10 game and then go on to play the Hawks in the for the 8 seed. It's the 10 Heat playing the 8 Hawks for the 8 spot. In that game, that'd be a very interesting game. It could go back or forth. But honestly, I can just see the Heat winning that game. The Hawks, I don't want them to make the playoffs because they never do anything with their playoffs when they make it. They'll be a 7 or 8 seed, get swept each time. I mean, they just don't make any noise in the playoffs. And also in the Heat or in the playoffs, it's just a better time. They always put up, good numbers. They always play good basketball. So I would much rather see the Heat in the playoffs, so that's why I have them winning. So I would then have the 7 Magic at the 7 and then Heat at the 8 for them both to play, for the Magic to then play the Celtics and then the Heat to play the Cavaliers. Which, honestly, playoff basketball with the Heat, unpredictable. So they honestly could be the Cavs, but I doubt it. And then the Magic and the Celtics, you never know. I mean, it's the playoffs. Anything can happen. You never know. And then we're going to go to the Western Conference. Western Conference, like I said, still, even with the playoffs being fully set now, you still never know. You got Golden State at 7. You have the Warriors, the Dynasty Warriors in the 7th spot. Insane to think about. You got Memphis at 8, Sacramento, the Kings at 9, and then Dallas at 10. So let's talk about each of those games. So we got Golden State, the 7, versus 8, Memphis. I have Golden State winning that game. I don't even need to talk about that. I think they're just overall a better team. They still have their head coach in Steve Kerr, and the Memphis Grizzlies do not, after firing their head coach 2 weeks ago when they were in a 4-seed spot. They just had to fire him in this depth of a playoff run with a good team that they have surrounded in Memphis. John Morant, Desmond Bane, one of the best defensive players in the league, JJJ, Jaren Jackson Jr. You got Zach Edey, who's proven to be one of the, honestly, he's not getting enough recognition. He's playing phenomenal basketball, and he's just helping the Grizzlies play such good ball in the paint because he's just so tall and so dominant. But overall, I think the Warriors are just a better overall team. You got Draymond Green. He's one of those gritty players in the NBA. Steph Curry, the best. Still, even though he didn't have the most threes this year, he was 3rd, kept behind Malik Beasley and Anthony Edwards. I still think he's the best three-point shooter in the league today, and he will be able to be the reason they beat the Grizzlies because of his three-point shooting ability. Also, you got guys, playoff Jimmy. I hope he pulls through. I love watching him play in the playoffs. I mean, who doesn't? Miami Heat, Jimmy Butler is one of the most exciting, electric NBA players to ever play the game. Let's be honest now. I mean, you love watching an 8-7 60 make it all the way to the NBA Finals or Eastern Conference Finals and go to 7 against the dominant Boston Celtics and beat them. I mean, who was opposed to that? Nobody was. But I regress on that. I mean, you got the whole team. The Warriors team is just good. They shouldn't have lost. They sold against the Clippers. They were playing good. They went to OT. Draymond Green had an interesting take on that final possession. He tried to draw contact instead of going up for the easy layup. But I'm not talking about that. They lost, whatever. They should beat the Memphis Grizzlies to get the 7th seed. Then you go to the 9-10 game. 9 Sacramento Kings versus 10 Dallas Mavericks. That game is going to be one of the games we've definitely seen of all time. I mean, it's not going to be, the NBA Finals, obviously. It's a playing game. But it's going to just be a fun game to watch. Anthony Davis versus Sabonis. I mean, that's going to be a phenomenal big matchup. DeMar DeRozan versus Klay Thompson. I mean, the Kings have a lot of talent. They're making the play-in every year. And speaking of the play-in, one of the Kings players, Jonas Valanciunas, I can never say his last name, he leads the NBA all time in play-in points and rebounds. It's only been around for 5 years. The Kings have been in the play-in every year, and Jonas has been in the play-in every year that has happened. Not on the Kings, but since it started in the 2019-2020 season, he's been in the play-in every year, and he leads the play-in all time in points and rebounds, which I just find to be hilarious. So, honestly though, I see Sacramento outplaying the Dallas Mavericks in that game. I just think they'll just play better. I just really think they will. I think they'll play a better game. They have overall better players. Dallas has just so many injuries that have butchered them all season. If Kyrie was still healthy for the Mavericks, I would have them beating. I think Kyrie's just one of the best, still one of the best players in the NBA, but he's out. So I have Sacramento beating them in that game to then play the Memphis Grizzlies for the 8 seed, who I then think the Memphis Grizzlies will beat the Sacramento Kings because I think Memphis has a better team than Sacramento. Also, actually, it's really could go both ways. Sacramento's been in the situation before, while Memphis hasn't really been here before with these players. So it could go back and forth, but I do want to see Memphis beat the Sacramento Kings. They will then go on and play the OKC Thunder, which I think would be just a really good game. John Morant versus SGA would just be a phenomenal game to watch, and no one would be opposed to that. So my final standings: Golden State to beat Memphis for the 7 seed, Memphis to beat Sacramento for the 8 seed in the West, and then the Magic to beat the Hawks for the 7 seed in the East, and then the Heat to beat the Hawks in the loser's bracket, I guess you could say, for the Heat to take the 8 seed in the East, to then go on to play the Cavs and the Celtics. That's all I got for this segment. The next segment, we're staying with the NBA. We're talking about the Detroit Pistons. First time in the playoffs since 2018. It's going to be a great playoffs. I'm going to love to watch them. After that, WNBA draft happened last night. Let's talk about who got picked, who went where. Then we're going back. We're staying, or actually, no, sorry. We're talking about something I've talked about before, the MLB lockout possibly next year. I'll talk about that again because that's not getting a lot of recognition. End off in the NFL with Nick Chubb. But before we get into all of that, take a little break, and we'll see you guys right after the break.